out of you. Say something else.
That is my answer to Spike Lee. Go to hell.
And people get caught up in the illusion of Hollywood. People really get caught up in this.
Katt Williams has always been known for his unfiltered honesty, but his latest comments about Tyler Perry are turning heads in Hollywood. In a recent interview, Katt didn't just throw shade, he launched a full-on verbal storm, calling Tyler Perry out as a looming presence in the entertainment industry that, according to him, doesn't uplift black male actors as much as it seems. And let's be real, when Katt talks, people listen. His words are sharp, his delivery unapologetic, and his accusations, well, they're enough to make anyone sit up and take notice.
So tell us about the business part of your life, because you have built from nothing, really, a really substantial business. I mean, we're at the small business conference here.
Katt went straight for the jugular, claiming that Perry's productions don't create true stars. He argued that actors who work with Tyler Perry might gain temporary visibility, but never the kind of fame that makes them household names. According to Katt, if you're in a Perry production, you could walk through a mall without anyone recognizing you. The implication? Perry's work keeps actors boxed in, unable to transcend the roles they're given. And let's not forget the part where Katt referred to Perry as a gatekeeper, essentially suggesting that while Perry has the power to elevate black talent, he instead holds them back. Call it bold, call it controversial, but Katt didn't mince words. Tyler Perry is not taking anyone to superstardom. This isn't just some off-the-cuff rant. Katt's statements are rooted in a broader critique of how Perry operates within the industry. Perry's productions, whether it's his iconic Madea movies or his sprawling TV empire, are undeniably successful. But critics, including Katt, argue that they rely on repetitive tropes and don't do enough to push the envelope. Katt's point cuts deep. For all the billions Perry has made, where are the breakout stars? Where are the actors who've gone on to lead major blockbusters or win prestigious awards? Sure, Perry's productions create opportunities, but do they open doors, or do they leave actors stuck in a cycle of mediocrity? According to Katt, it's the latter.
The man has a huge audience, and Tyler's very smart. You know what he's done. He started out, with these plays
And it's not just Katt Williams who has beef with Tyler Perry. His comments have opened the floodgates, with others in the industry chiming in. Some actors and creatives are quietly or not so quietly backing Katt's claims. They point out that Perry's reputation as a champion for black actors might not tell the whole story. While Perry has undeniably created jobs for countless performers, the quality of those roles is another matter. Critics argue that his characters often fall into damaging stereotypes, particularly when it comes to black men. Think about it. How many times have we seen a Perry film where the antagonist is a dark-skinned man who's abusive, unfaithful, or downright irredeemable? It's a pattern that hasn't gone unnoticed.
When African Americans make it and they get to the top, they try to help other people, but they don't really take care of the people that really should.
Take Spike Lee, for instance. He's been one of Perry's most vocal critics, famously describing Perry's work as coonery and buffoonery. Spike didn't hold back, accusing Perry of pandering to the lowest common denominator and perpetuating harmful stereotypes. Perry, of course, fired back, telling Spike to go to hell during a 60 Minutes interview. The feud between these two heavyweights has been simmering for years, and Katt's comments have only added fuel to the fire. It's not just about artistic differences, it's a clash of ideologies. While Spike Lee has always championed complex, nuanced portrayals of black life, Perry seems content sticking to his tried-and-true formula, much to the frustration of critics.
Is that I'm quite likely to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Even Chris Rock has weighed in on the issue, albeit more subtly. In his stand-up specials, Chris has joked about the recurring themes in Perry's work, particularly the idea that light-skinned men are always the heroes while dark-skinned men are the villains. It's a critique that's echoed by many in the black community. Perry's reliance on these tropes might make for compelling drama, but they also reinforce colorism, a deeply ingrained issue that continues to plague Hollywood. And while Perry has defended his choices by saying he's simply telling the stories his audience wants to see, critics argue that he has a responsibility to do better, especially given his influence.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again? These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything.
It's worth noting that Perry's response to these accusations has been, well, defensive. He's addressed the criticism head-on, often dismissing it as elitist or out of touch with the realities of his core audience. Perry has made it clear that his work isn't for the so-called highbrow critics. It's for everyday people who see themselves in his stories. And, to be fair, Perry's audience is fiercely loyal. His films and TV shows resonate with millions, particularly church-going Black women, who see his work as a reflection of their struggles and triumphs. But does catering to this audience excuse the stereotypes and lack of depth? That's the question Katt Williams and others are asking. In the midst of his flack, Katt Williams offers a powerful invitation to work on ourselves, live more deeply. And then there's the issue of Perry's infamous work ethic. Perry has proudly proclaimed that he writes all his scripts himself, often bragging about his ability to churn out content at an astonishing pace. In fact, he once posted a video on social media showing a table stacked with scripts he'd written single-handedly. While this might sound impressive, it's also drawn criticism. Many argue that Perry's refusal to collaborate with other writers limits the quality and diversity of his storytelling. By keeping the creative process so insular, Perry not only stifles fresh voices but also perpetuates the same tired narratives that have plagued his work for years.
But the truth is, in 20 years, I've never been on a commercial audition in my life. Like, I never let my tour get sponsored when I was broke.
This brings us back to Katt Williams' main point. Tyler Perry's empire might look impressive from the outside, but what's happening behind the scenes? Katt's critique isn't just about the roles Perry offers. It's about the system he's built. A system that, according to Katt, doesn't nurture talent but exploits it. And let's not forget the rumors about Perry's workplace practices. Over the years, there have been reports of toxic environments on Perry's sets, with writers and crew members alleging unfair treatment. In one high-profile incident, Perry fired the entire writing staff of House of Pain after they asked for union contracts. It's incidents like these that make Katt's accusations even harder to ignore. But it's not all doom and gloom for Tyler Perry. Despite the criticism, he remains one of the most successful Black filmmakers in history. His Atlanta-based studio is a testament to his vision and determination, and his contributions to the industry can't be denied. Perry has created opportunities for countless Black actors and crew members, and his philanthropic efforts have made a tangible difference in people's lives. Yet, for all his accomplishments, the question remains, is Tyler Perry truly lifting up the Black community, or is he holding it back? The best advice T-boarders could get from their health professionals is to quit smoking and diet.
I can't win over there because I don't play. I don't participate. Like, you can't buy me, not because I'm not for sale. You can't buy me because I'm not in the store. It's different.
As Katt Williams continues to speak out, it's clear that this conversation isn't going away anytime soon. Perry's defenders argue that he's doing the best he can within a system that's inherently flawed, while his critics, like Katt, demand more. They want Perry to use his platform to challenge stereotypes, to push boundaries, and to create roles that uplift rather than diminish. Whether or not Perry will rise to the occasion remains to be seen, but one thing's for sure: the industry is watching. And this brings us to the broader implications of Katt's critique. Perry isn't the only figure in Hollywood facing backlash for his choices. The entertainment industry is rife with power dynamics, and Perry is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. In fact, Katt's comments about gatekeeping and exploitation could just as easily apply to other industry giants, figures like Sean Diddy Combs, who's been embroiled in his own controversies. The parallels are striking, and they raise important questions about who holds the power in Hollywood and how they choose to wield it. But that's a story for another time. For now, the spotlight remains firmly on Tyler Perry and the empire he's built.
I had clients describe NBC as hell, as the worst conditions they've been in.
The entertainment industry always seems to have a knack for keeping the drama alive, doesn't it? Just when you think you've seen it all, another scandal or controversy comes bubbling to the surface. And lately, one name that keeps popping up alongside Tyler Perry in conversations about power, control, and questionable practices is none other than Sean Diddy Combs. Now, Diddy's reputation has been taking a nosedive, and for good reason. From accusations of misconduct to whispers about his infamous parties, it seems like Diddy's carefully curated public image is cracking. But what makes this even more intriguing is the way these two powerhouses, Perry and Diddy, have become lightning rods for criticism in their respective corners of the entertainment world. Both are celebrated for their undeniable success, and both are now under fire for the ways they've allegedly wielded their power.
If the government is going to mandate that they are responsible for your well-being, they have to ensure the safety of your well-being.
So let's dive into Diddy's world for a moment, because, trust me, it gets wild. The recent allegations against him make for a scandal that feels like it was ripped straight out of a Hollywood screenplay. We're talking about lawsuits, federal investigations, and even rumors of secret recordings that could implicate some of the biggest names in the industry. It's the kind of drama that makes you wonder just how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Now, so what is next? Is he going to be in jail in this facility until the trial begins? Is there a chance he could, get moved earlier than that?
As of this moment, as of this hour, as of today, yes. But of course, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to be appealing this thing next to the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals to overturn the judge's order here to try and get him actually released.
For years, Diddy has been a larger-than-life figure in music and entertainment. From founding Bad Boy Records to his ventures in fashion, liquor brands, and even acting, he's built an empire that spans decades. But beneath the surface, there have always been whispers about what really goes on behind closed doors. And now it seems like those whispers are turning into full-blown accusations. Take, for instance, the claims made by his former videographer and producer, Rodney Lil Rod Jones. In a lawsuit filed earlier this year, Jones didn't just accuse Diddy of misconduct. He painted a picture of an entire empire built on exploitation. According to Jones, Diddy hosted gatherings that were far from the glamorous soirees you might imagine. Instead, these events allegedly involved all kinds of shady behavior, with Diddy at the center of it all.
And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact Jones even claimed that Diddy had hidden cameras in his homes, capturing footage of high-profile guests without their knowledge. Let that sink in for a moment. The idea that one of the most powerful men in entertainment might have been secretly recording some of the industry's biggest names is enough to send shockwaves through Hollywood. And the implications? They're massive. If these tapes exist, and that's a big if, they could implicate not just Diddy, but also a whole host of celebrities, executives, and other power players who attended these gatherings. No wonder the industry is on edge.
The evidence, alleged evidence, that's been gathered in this case was from those two raids that were conducted on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles. And the indictment names the things seized that he allegedly made videos of these performances that have been named.
Adding fuel to the fire, there's been ongoing speculation about who might appear on these alleged recordings. Social media is ablaze with rumors, and while no names have been confirmed, the mere possibility has people scrambling to distance themselves from Diddy. Some of the biggest stars in music, acting, and even politics have been linked to him over the years, and the thought of being dragged into this scandal has everyone on high alert.
There are some problems that the defense has brought up originally, but it seems like, just from reading this 14-page indictment, that there is enough physical evidence to perhaps get a conviction in this case. We shall see.
But it's not just the recordings that have people talking. The allegations against Diddy also include claims of manipulation and intimidation. According to multiple sources, he allegedly used his power and influence to silence those who tried to speak out against him. This isn't just about bad behavior. It's about a pattern of control that extends far beyond the walls of his mansions. And when you think about it, doesn't that sound eerily similar to some of the criticisms leveled at Tyler Perry? Both men are accused of creating environments where their word is law, where dissent isn't tolerated, and where those who challenge them are quickly cast aside.
Took Sean Diddy Combs into custody. He's seen in this video entering the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan with others when agents from Homeland Security Investigations approach and separate him. They place Combs under arrest and lead him out the front door in handcuffs.
Now let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. What we're seeing here isn't just about two individuals. It's about a system that allows powerful men to operate without accountability. Whether it's Perry's alleged mistreatment of writers or Diddy's rumored manipulation of his inner circle, the common thread is the unchecked power they wield. And while their industries might be different, Perry in film and television, Diddy in music and business, the dynamics are strikingly similar. This is where Katt Williams' comments start to feel even more relevant. When Katt called out Tyler Perry for being a gatekeeper, he wasn't just talking about the roles Perry offers to actors. He was pointing to a larger issue, the way certain figures in Hollywood and the entertainment industry at large use their power to control who gets a seat at the table. And isn't that exactly what's being alleged about Diddy? The idea that he could use his influence to keep people in line, to silence critics, and to maintain his position at the top sounds like the textbook definition of gatekeeping.
This has to be a 100% culture shock. I can't imagine living a lifestyle of the incredibly rich and famous, and then going into this very dark, impersonal, cold, austere facility.
But here's the twist. Despite all the allegations, both Perry and Diddy have legions of fans and supporters who remain fiercely loyal. For Perry, it's the audiences who see themselves in his stories, who appreciate his dedication to showcasing Black experiences, even if those stories sometimes rely on stereotypes. For Diddy, it's the fans who've grown up with his music, who see him as a trailblazer in hip-hop and a symbol of success. This loyalty creates a kind of shield, making it harder for critics to break through and hold these men accountable.
Special housing unit is a 24-hour lockdown unit, which means that any movement within that unit is controlled and coordinated, and no inmate moves outside of his cell without being in full restraints, to include leg irons, handcuffs, a belly chain, and at least 2, if not 3 staff members escorting them.
Of course, that doesn't mean the criticisms aren't valid. In fact, the more you dig into these stories, the harder it becomes to ignore the patterns. Whether it's Perry's resistance to hiring writers' rooms or Diddy's alleged manipulation of those around him, there's a sense that both men operate within systems that prioritize their power over the well-being of others. And while they've both achieved incredible success, the cost of that success is starting to come into focus. What's even more fascinating is how these controversies are forcing the entertainment industry to reckon with itself. The conversations around Perry and Diddy aren't just about their individual actions. They're about the culture of silence that allows these actions to go unchecked. It's a culture that prioritizes profits over people, that rewards those who play along and punishes those who speak out. And if the allegations against Diddy are proven true, it could mark a turning point, not just for his career, but for the industry as a whole.
The story we're tracking, music mogul Sean Diddy Combs on watch at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center after 2 judges denied his request for bail. This as a grand jury is expected to hear new testimony from workers very soon.
So where does this leave us? On one hand, you have Tyler Perry, a man who's built an empire on the backs of stories that resonate deeply with his audience, but who faces criticism for the way he runs his productions and the stereotypes he perpetuates. On the other hand, you have Diddy, a mogul whose public image is being dismantled by a flood of allegations that paint him as a manipulative and controlling figure. Both are icons in their own right, but both are now grappling with the consequences of their actions, or inactions.
As you all know, I made a request today for what we were calling a gag order, and I'm not going to walk out of court and do anything other than...
And yet, the story doesn't end here. If anything, this is just the beginning. As more details emerge, as more voices come forward, and as the industry continues to evolve, the legacies of these 2 men will be shaped not just by their successes, but by how they respond to these challenges. Will they acknowledge the criticisms and make meaningful changes? Or will they double down and continue to operate as they always have? Only time will tell. For now, though, one thing is clear. The entertainment industry is at a crossroads. The age of unchecked power is being challenged, and figures like Tyler Perry and Sean Diddy Combs are finding themselves at the center of a reckoning. Whether that reckoning leads to real change or simply more headlines remains to be seen, but one thing's for sure, it's going to be a wild ride. And as Katt Williams so aptly put it, the time for these big players to catch heat has arrived. The question is, who's next? Share your thoughts and insights below, and let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay tuned for more celebrity updates.